Learn how you can help flood-stricken farmers in Nebraska, what you can do to help your cattle bounce back from this wet season, and see what else you missed this month in Kentucky beef. You're watching Kentucky Cattle News. This is Jacob Redway reporting. The Kentucky Cattlemen's Association continues to send our thoughts and prayers to the farming and ranching communities affected by the floods and blizzards throughout Nebraska, where the devastation is unprecedented. There is an immediate need for fencing supplies in those areas. The Breckinridge County Cattlemen's Association will be collecting fencing supplies to deliver to Nebraska. If you would like to contribute, donations can be taken to the Breckinridge County Extension Office in Hardinsburg, Kentucky. Donations will be accepted until April 10th. More info can be found on our Facebook page. The caravan of supplies will leave the Breckinridge County Extension Office at 9 a.m. on April 12th if you would like to attend. Monetary donations can also be sent to the Kentucky Cattlemen's Association office located at 176 Pasadena Drive in Lexington, Kentucky. Checks can be made payable to the Kentucky Cattlemen's Foundation, and please note Disaster Fund Flood in the memo line. If you'd like to donate with a credit card, you can call the KCA office at 859-278-0899. Please join us in helping our friends in Nebraska. Coming out of one of the wettest years on record, Kentucky has seen above average and persistent rainfall this past winter. And of course, with the rain comes the mud that has plagued cattle farms throughout the bluegrass, creating many issues on the farm. This persistent period of mud has led to poor conditions for grazing and feed intake, weak calves, poor body condition scores, reproductive issues for cows, and much more. So what can be done to help your cows and calves bounce back from these conditions? We caught up with Dr. Jeff Limcooler, UK Extension beef cattle specialist, and he talked about management decisions you can make to help your cattle recover from this wet season and prepare for the next.
So some of our strategies this spring that we maybe not have done in the past would be to provide supplemental energy for these thinner cows to, one, try to prevent additional body condition loss, and two, also increase body condition from the time of calving to the time that we would be putting that bull in about 60 or 70 days from the time that they calve. And that takes some energy supplementation. Fortunately for us right now, grain is relatively inexpensive and our commodity feed prices are not that high compared to about 5 to 7 years ago. So we could afford to put a little bit of grain into these cows and bring conditions back up. The other thing to just keep in the back of our mind, it takes somewhere in the neighborhood of about 4 to 5 pounds of grain over the next 60 days to increase that one body condition score. And that is probably more than what we're accustomed to feeding. So it will require us to monitor the body condition score on the cows and make sure that we're providing adequate nutrients if we need to try and regain that condition. Typically, once these calves get to 2 to 3 months of age, milk is becoming much less of an important nutrient supply for them, and forage becomes a greater need or a greater supply to meet their needs. And creep feed is a great option for us this year as we look at pastures that are maybe in less than ideal condition. Calves will exchange forage consumption for creep feed consumption. That extra forage then can go to help support the cow and provide additional energy and protein for milk production. If you dealt with a lot of mud and are looking to try to reduce that for the future winter period, this is a great time to be thinking about planning for winter hay feeding structures or high traffic use areas that might be a geotextile fabric and some type of gravel pad or concrete. So if you can plan right now for that, that will give you some time to get those facilities built and put in place for next winter and hopefully keep you a little bit better situated from dealing with the mud.
It was a beautiful day on March 28th for the Winter Feeding Field Day at Eden Shell Farm in Owen County, Kentucky. Nearly 200 cattlemen, women, and guests from across the state came out to learn more about the farm's solutions to winter cattle feeding. Guests were shown several installations showcasing best management practices for mitigating mud on the farm. These included the fence line feeding system, the new large hay feeder, and much more. This was the highest attended field day ever at Eden Shell Farm, and we caught up with a few of the guests to talk about their experience.
Definitely come up here and check it out. It's an opportunity that you shouldn't pass up, especially if you're into farming. Gives you a lot of ideas how to keep your farm from being so muddy, keep your animals from being so muddy.
I would highly encourage people to, if they're close by or within a reasonable driving distance, to drive up to the farm and see it, get some pictures, take a look at what is actually here and how they might construct it on their farm. If they want to look at the Eden Shale website and look at the videos for it, they can do that. But this is something that has great application to whether you're a small cattle herd or whether you're a large cattle herd. This will work. It will be a lot less mud and problem in the wintertime and destruction of fields and hard on your equipment as well, not to mention yourself. So it's worth coming to see and learn from it.
To learn more about the farm and upcoming events, follow the blog at EdenShaleFarm.com. Stay tuned to the Eden Shale Facebook page for an upcoming video tour of the large hay feeder. During the Raising the Stakes event in Lexington on March 20th and 21st, a variety of social and online influencers were offered a glimpse into today's beef production story. 16 professionals from the Northeast and Kentucky attended the event and embarked on a tour across the state, focusing on improvements made to beef sustainability. The Northeast Beef Promotion Initiative, a subcontractor to the Beef Checkoff, partnered with the Kentucky Beef Council to offer this two-day educational event. The experience included cutting and food prep demos with Master Butcher Kerry Underley, where attendees worked in groups to break down several subprimal cuts, creating jerky strips and a grind to make their own burgers. On day 2, participants traveled to the Yards classroom at the Bluegrass Stockyards, where they heard about beef sustainability. The group went on to visit Eden Shale Farm in Owen County. The tour was made possible by the Kentucky Beef Council and the Northeast Beef Promotion Initiative. Jennifer Orr, Director of Nutrition Education for the initiative, explains the multiple benefits from this partnership.
These kind of events, we've seen so many different attitude shifts. We do pre and post surveys. We are continually gauging their opinion of beef, and we love to see when their attitudes shift more towards the positive opinions of beef. When they get up close and personal with our cattle farmers and they're seeing those animals in front of them or cooking with beef and getting their hands dirty, we can really see the perception changes that they can then relate to their clients so that more beef is being sold in the grocery stores and on restaurant menus.
Several of the influencers walked away with a better understanding of beef's story and a readiness to share that story with their audiences.
So I'll take this back to the students that I teach to. I teach an entire class on about nutrition, and we do some cooking classes in there. So I'm already kind of brainstorming ways that we can use that with my athletes as well as my students. And then of course I am working on a new cookbook, so there will be some beef recipes in there for sure.
And I think today, talking about sustainability, that was the biggest piece because I do get so many questions about those pieces from my clients. But honing in on this difference between grass-fed and grass-finished versus grain-finished was really useful. It was just helpful to see that all of our cows are eating grass, all of our farmers care about their cows, and really all of the meat that we eat is raised in a sustainable way. And a lot of the fears that some people hold about meat aren't based on fact. So kind of bringing more of that fact to my client about the whole life cycle of that meat before it gets to their plate.
To learn more about the initiative, visit nebpi.org. For more information about your Beef Checkoff investment, visit mybeefcheckoff.com. Thanks for watching Kentucky Cattle News, where we're always thankful for farm families, healthy herds, and tasty traditions.